Dak Prescott to show his greatness.
I truly believe Ezekiel Elliott returned.
Hey guys, welcome back to Primetime Studios. Like always, I'm your host, Primetime Phil, and today we're going to discuss, well, the beginning of the season. That's what we're going to discuss. It's finally here. It's right around the corner. It's more than 24 hours a day away, really. You get one good night's sleep. You wake up. You go and watch some football during the day. You drink your beer. You eat your chicken wings. And honestly, by the time you know it, the Dallas Cowboys are taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And as I bring in Gametime Bryan with Primetime Phil here, we are beginning the season. So we got a lot of people in the chat.
What up, people?
Go ahead, come on in, man. I love we. We
Are we excited or what, man?
Mary, I appreciate
We are one sleep away.
Oh, man. Captain Taki, I love it.
I'm ready, Phil, man. I am ready to roll.
Yes, me too, man. I'm excited as well, man. There's a lot of things to discuss about this Tampa Bay matchup that I just wanted to blurt out of the mouth way before this even began in other broadcasts and other things what we did earlier in the week. But to keep it on the low and try to keep, what my prediction was going to be. I don't know about you, Brian. I know there was a lot of people poking out, trying to get those predictions as well. I think we definitely can win it, but I don't think it's as easy as everybody tries to make it out to be. So, what is your thought on the game?
I've been all over the map, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, Phil, I've been all over the map. But as the game gets closer, I normally hone in on what I think is going to happen. Normally, I have a good feel. I think it's natural, to be a little apprehensive. But the closer the game gets, the more comfortable I'm feeling. So I'm excited. I think they're going to do good.
I'm feeling it as well, too.
The final score may not indicate how the game is going to play out, but ultimately, I think they're going to come up, open it up pretty good. Yeah, I think it's going to be a good night for Cowboys fans.
You think about last year and where Dak was coming off of a big injury. We had no Zach Martin. There was a lot of question marks within this offense. And even though it was high-powered, we were definitely questioning the defense going into the season. So the fact that it came out, they started throwing, and it's something that I don't want to rely too much on this year because obviously I want to get the running game started. I want to keep the ball out of Tom Brady's hands. I want to get other people to think about other than Dak Prescott throwing it down the field. I do have faith in this receiving core, but I'm not going to try to test it every single week. So, change your game plans and everything. But I do like the fact that, I'm not liking the fact, one, that we didn't get to see the offensive starters, but at the same time, I look at last year and see how they were just jumping out of the box, just slinging it everywhere like they had never had an off day. So I like the matchup going in, and I think it definitely favors us. And of course, Tampa Bay fans obviously feel that they can favor them as well. But when you look at the bigger matchup, it's because these two teams, if I was just to say, hey, give me 5 teams that is going to make the NFC Championship playoff run whole thing, you're going to have Dallas in there, and you're sure as hell going to have Tampa Bay in there. So to tell me that Tampa Bay's depleted just because they have 2 guys out and the one guy is newer, but again, he was starting his this year. He was beating them for that spot. So, to say that this team is depleted, I'm not going to say that. They have an amazing team all around, and they're a threat, and that's the reason why they're favored.
Their defense is no joke, Phil. Their defense is world-class, top-notch defense. Running the ball is going to be interesting against Lodi Nada and crew. It's not going to be easy, but in saying that, I think our defense, and especially Michael Parsons, how are they going to game plan for Anthony Barr, DeMarcus Lawrence? I mean, it goes on and on and on.
I'm liking
that defense is going to come tomorrow night, and I'm telling you, Tom Brady's going to be on his ass. I could just see it. I could see it, and we're all going to be happy.
So let's look at the chat real quick before I jump into the subject of that. We got Angelica Baron. We got Potrock. All right, man, making an appearance with his taking away from his fantasy football knowledge that he tries to make sure that
I love weed, my man. What's up?
Weed was in the hospital for a little bit. I'm glad to see him out. I noticed him right away when he wasn't around, and so I'm glad that you're back, man. I'm happy that you're doing better.
Blue virus
is here. I love it. You guys are amazing, man. Brian, you have an echo. Let's see. Maybe feeding in. Let's see. Let me try something here.
Check. Thanks, virus.
Give it a test, test Mike.
How we looking, my man?
So it's more on my end, he's saying.
It's Phil. It's Phil and his equipment.
Yeah. So let's see how that goes. But anyways, Brian.
You sound better to me, Phil.
Yeah.
But I don't know about me.
I wanted to give it that effect. We're playing Sunday. I wanted to give it that
better.
That
Thanks.
Trucks. Yeah. So
thanks, Angelica and Mary. Thank you.
Thank you. But
come on, stop messing with the buttons, man.
I'm just trying new things. It's like a spaceship in here. Just like But I'm loving the chat because these are the people that we love to chat with. These guys
Captain
are knowledgeable.
Taki, what's up, my man?
Give their stuff, especially Captain Taki. He definitely has a good opinion about, especially this matchup that we have going on.
Broke-ass media.
Of course, the broke-ass media.
You got it, Angelica.
Let me show that because it definitely deserves to be shown. If I am a descendant of Mark Holmes, I must represent in a possible way. If I bring up my graphics, I got to do something to balance it, So I wanted to bring up a graphic that that Brian was telling me about, and I definitely have to put out there because when it comes to the beginning of the season, there's a lot of doubts for a lot of Cowboy fans. But when you look at the overall, I mean, this Super Bowls, playoff wins, playoff percentages, franchise wins, these things do matter in the overall picture. And because we haven't done things for a very long time, it goes to show you the kind of dynasty that this team has had in the past, to be able to put these winning percentages up. And even when you had like that big old gap between Troy Aikman and Tony Romo, you had a lot of quarterbacks going through here, and it was as a Cowboy fan, it was very hard to watch that. Bringing in guys like Ryan Leaf, I think that was the low point for me as a quarterback guy. But when you look at it, you look at appearances. Go ahead.
No, I just want to talk to my peeps in the chat and anybody that's not a Cowboy fan. We've been hearing a lot of smack. We've been hearing a lot of shit about our lack of success. Look at that most playoff win number. Everybody wants to run their mouth about we haven't won a playoff game and this and that. Especially you Birds fans out there. A lot of my friends. You've got 19 playoff wins. Yet over the last 25 years, we've sucked. You're still nowhere near us. Nowhere near us. It's just a reminder of the success as a franchise that we've had, and we're going to get back to it. Now, it's never going to be, you know, like it was before the salary cap. That's not, the way the league is nowadays. But just look at that number. We are one behind the Steelers and the Patriots. Okay? Just think about that. We've had not had success in 25 years. We have a rich history.
And
I'm ready to go.
look
Look at the winning.
Yeah, you look at San Francisco. He's right there with us, and they were right there behind us in the sense of when they won their championship as well. But they don't get as ridiculed anywhere near, And obviously they, people are quick to point out the fans. But I'm going to tell you, no matter what fan base you have that small percentage as a fan that's like, we're going to Super Bowl each year, and so that's fine. But you got to have. There's that in between. Be a realistic person. You knew those years that we had Jason Garrett in here, and we had some of these questionable teams. We weren't going to do anything a lot, down the line. And so when I look at a team like now, I can get excited. I mean, yeah, we have our flaws. I mean, every team does under a salary cap. But I get excited about the youth of this team because there's a lot of years in front of them. But, last year Parsons shined amazingly. And so how is this year 2 going to go when he's learned things, when he's put a year under his belt, when he's figured out extra moves, when he's gone in the offseason and worked with guys like DeMarcus Ware? And I like that kind of a defense, especially when you're putting in a guy like Jaron Kearse that was a green dot. So, I mean, there's a lot of parts of this defense that, Osa Odigizua, what are they going to look like when he doesn't hit a rookie wall? So, there's definitely a lot to get excited about. What do you think, Brian?
This defense is going to be dynamic. So we just need the offense. I'm hearing some things about Tolbert. Listen, let's just run the ball in 12 personnel and go downfield. We got Turpin. He can run a 9 route. I'm excited to see him involved in the offense other than just on special teams. This dude, Turpin, he reminds me of Deshaun Jackson, and he's like a game wrecker. He could change the game with the ball in his hand. Now you can say, well, yeah, how could you say that? He's a USFL guy. Look, even the players on the team, it's only taken a short period of time. They all said, the kid from the USFL is trying to have a roster spot. He walked in, and he's part of the 53 instantly.
Yeah, he's a threat.
There's a lot of things to be excited about. I mean, we all know that the offensive line, we're all holding our breath, and that's the big thing. How well can Tyler Smith do and Connor McGovern on that left side? And I just think that it's going to be a great night tomorrow night, and I'm ready to go. Are you people ready to go or what?
As we were on the chat with Mark, I saw a lot of you see Eagle fans there. Quick to give their opinion. You have those, also realistic ones that understand that they have a good team, but you go only as far as your leader a lot of the times. And if you got a guy like Jalen Hurts, I don't put a lot of faith. I put more faith in Minshew as a threat. So I keep saying this as well. As soon as Minshew goes in there, that's going to be when they're a threat. That's when the offense is going to move more. That's when A.J. Brown is going to basically be more of a threat. So, this team is very good. But, don't let them downplay the Lion whole thing. We talk about the Lions, and Brian has definitely mentioned this, that the Eagles have the Lions number, and they are favored to go into this matchup. So when we say that the Lions can win that, we're saying it more in the sense that they have a better team than they've had in previous years. And obviously when you get a high draft picks, you better have a better team than you've had in previous years. But as you watch Hard Knocks, and again, Brian was the one that pointed it to me, they have a hell of a coaching staff as well. Real quickly, I'm going to switch over, and I'm going to bring over a guy that I'm very honored to have on our show here, Cole Cowboys. Yay, Cole. Yeah, that's the rally cap. Yeah, that's the whole rally cap thing. So let me switch it up. Yeah, so you were just coming off of a broadcast with a Tampa Bay fan, which I thought was very knowledgeable. He definitely knew his team, and he's not like, those other people that they see there. Oh, we're gonna go and we're gonna just whoop everybody. He understood where his weaknesses were. He understood where their strengths are, which they do have a lot of strengths. What do you think, Cole? Hold on. Let me try it here. Hold on, there we go. They are.
You hear me now?
Can we hear you now? Can
Good.
you hear us? Let's make sure.
Can you hear Brian?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I know you can, but the chat's saying they can't hear me.
Yeah. So let's try some stuff here.
It's the first time we're having a Zoom with more people coming in, so
let me try.
no sound, Phil.
Yeah. We're going to do this real quick. All right, and let's see. Let's try it now. Can we get a test here? And make sure that go ahead, Brian, and go ahead, Cole. See, talk for a little bit. Let's see if they.
Colleen Ford, can you hear me? There we go.
Okay.
We're live.
Yeah. So I just added the Zoom part.
Thanks, Toggy.
So I appreciate you letting us know. Yeah, it looks good. All right, cool. So just added a little audio into it, kind of backdoored it, get all raunchy about it. But anyways, what I was saying about it, and let you guys talk, is that let the group hear about these guys. They definitely had a good knowledge about their Tampa Bay Buccaneer and what their weaknesses. And you look at the defense. I mean, their defense is pretty stacked. So and he understands that as well too. So I think that's where a lot of Tampa Bay fans can get behind.
Yes, he definitely basically gave us the run by of the team. Basically, how the defense gonna handle us. They're definitely got their eyes on Michael Parsons. That's for sure. He told me that he made a whole video of Michael Parsons because he know Michael Parsons is going to be a problem. So hopefully it works out for our favor on our end.
Now, now Coles, knowing that, right? Yeah. And you know the game. Since they're going to try and key on Parsons, now I think everybody knows he's going to be all over the place. So unless it's going to be almost impossible to stop him. But who would you then say is the next guy to get to Tom Brady? I have my opinion, but let's just say that they're focusing on Parsons. Who's that guy?
He got to be DeMarcus Lawrence.
Exactly.
He got to be him.
Yeah.
We expecting to see a lot from him. Like, this is his year to show us. It's been a while. Last year was, we understand he had his foot injury. And he came back. He was, he was very dynamic, but Michael Parsons stole the show. You know what I'm saying? So I know over the offseason, he's finally taking his game serious. He's trimmed down. He's cut his hair. He's trying to, start over. Let's see what he does. You know what I'm saying? This is the guy that nobody's talking about on defense now.
I mean, D-Law. D-Law, he's a game wrecker. So the fact that he's his second guy, and we're not even getting to everybody else that's going to come off the edge. Anthony Barr. I mean, look, what's he going to do? It's just very exciting. I'm hoping they don't sit Williams, but like we were saying in Mark's chat, I hope they don't, deactivate Sam Williams. I think he needs to be activated. But if there was one game all year, I could see the logic maybe why you would, because of Tom Brady. He could possibly take advantage of a Sam Williams, but I don't think Sam Williams is going to be in there to do anything other than rush the passer anyway.
Right.
But what's your thought on that?
I think sitting Sam Williams right now isn't a bad thing, only because we have so many other guys that can be in their rotation. We got Dante Fowler. We got Dorrance Armstrong. Now, I'm not beating the table for Dorrance Armstrong.
But no, you're right. We roll. We're just rolling.
Right. Yeah, it's just wrong. But I've seen great things out of Terrell Basham. You know what I'm saying? Over the preseason, he showed that he could be a good rotational guy. Dante Fowler, he's familiar with, the going against Tom Brady. He's been having good games against Tom Brady. I believe he got like 6 sacks on the guy
Yeah.
in his career. So, you know, I trust what Dan Quinn is doing. If Dan Quinn feels like Sam Williams shouldn't be in this game, then I'm all for it. You know what I'm saying? He is
Yeah.
rookie. We don't want him to be taken advantage of. You know, he has pulled some penalties. Also, I could say Dante Fowler. What is it? Dante Fowler to pull
Yeah,
some.
it'll be interesting to see who's up and who's not up, because it's just, I mean, somebody is not going to be active that deserves to be active, but that's a good problem to have because it's a long season. What I'm excited about is the interior line as well.
Yes.
You have Gallimore and, you could say Bohannon. I mean, whoever, you got Osa. If they are who I think they are, our linebackers are going to be able to run free and our ends are going to feast. It could be scary. I mean, that's why I was saying we're going to be in every game because our defense is all that. It's legit.
Yeah.
And if I can say one thing, that the fact that a lot of people not putting a lot of talk and hype on our defense right now is good. Like
what happens?
talking about. Yeah, it talks.
What happens is last year we were top 10.
Yeah, exactly, and people still don't respect it. You know what I'm saying?
They're going to respect it.
Saying, "Hey, we're not going to be the same team. We're not going to be able to get the same turnovers." Well, this is Dan Quinn's system, and Dan Quinn's system is all about takeaways. Trayvon Diggs doesn't have to be the only guy that gets the ball. You know what I'm saying? So I like for us to be underneath the radar in that type of situation. Hopefully they can underestimate the defense, and we're gonna come out there and shock the world.
I mean,
I don't think
I'm excited for the defense.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna have that with guys like Tampa Bay because obviously they're gonna respect this defense. They know exactly what they can do. They're gonna try to counter it, and so I know. I mean, again, when I jump on this whole, everybody knows that this game is going to be close. I mean, if it isn't, it's going to be something like the Rams. Do you think that the Rams are not going to be a threat later on in the year? That the Buffalo kind of gave it to them towards the end of the second half, but that doesn't mean that the Rams are going to be a threat. So I mean, to whatever happens to this, whether a team gets blown out on either side, you're still thinking Tampa's going to be a playoff team. You're still thinking Dallas is going to be a playoff team. So that's why I say with week one, I mean, we don't know what this identity of this offense is. They couldn't catch it last year. And I think that going into this year could be a positive because obviously you don't know what, the first game, they don't know what to focus on exactly. I mean, they're probably going to jump on the run because, you don't have established receivers other than, CeeDee Lamb, which, we've all talked about in the sense that CeeDee Lamb, is he a number one receiver? Now, the opportunities have been there that show that maybe possibly not, but when you look at his past, whether it was high school, whether it's college, he was that number one receiver, and he did step up. So, what do you guys think about the receiving core with possibly Tolbert sitting on the sideline, with Gallup being out, with Washington being out? Do you like Simi Fehoko? Do you like Turpin as a wide receiver? Do you like this wide receiver core?
Yeah, go ahead, Coles.
Hey, I mean, I'm gonna keep it a buck. It's so many unknowns. I be getting shanked with the butter knife, like my boy Law Nation say. But I have faith in CeeDee Lamb. I know he's the number one receiver. My thing is, hey, what is Kellen Moore gonna do? How is he gonna strategize these guys? Is he gonna go back to his old ways, or we gotta throw the football 500 times. Oh, we're going to go ahead and run the football, kind of catch the defense off guard and probably, ease Simi Fehoko out there to some play action passes. Nobody see him coming. Nobody knows who Simi Fehoko is. He could come out and have a breakout year. Don't try to just stick to, we're going to go ahead and spread these wide receivers out and go down the field. Because that's what he's been doing last, year, or doing some trick plays that don't work. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully we can stick to our 12 personnel, run the ball effectively. You know what I'm saying? I feel better about our wide receiving core then. But if we're going to do like how we did in the end of the season, we're definitely not going to win no games.
All right. So right before,
I agree.
Right before, let me bring in. Go ahead, Brian. You tell me what your opinion is with the receiving core.
Yeah, I agree with Coles. my thing is we need to get the ball in the CD's hand early. I'm not saying it's got to be anything more than a smokescreen. Just get it in his damn hands, and get Pollard the ball and run Zeke. It's going to be a work in progress, but we have a lot of weapons. People, if it ultimately Coles is right, our fate is all in Kellen Moore's hands. If he can't get out of his own way and be a little bit more conservative, do more play action, more 12 personnel, and that's the way to go. I don't think you come out firing the ball. That would be stupid. So I'm with him. I'm hoping Tolbert's active again, but
yeah, I hope so too.
It's one of those things where I love Houston, so it does. It's you hate to see a 3rd round pick not be active. So
as we
that's going to be a tough call.
As we talk about our wide receiver core, Troy Daniels enters the chat. And looks like he's already at the stadium waiting for the game to start.
Yes, so I am.
It's like he's having a hell of a slumber party with a bunch of people there, and he's already in his pajamas. So let's go ahead, Troy. Welcome back, man.
Hey, thanks, Phil. Good to be here.
I appreciate you coming in, man. What do you think about this receiving core going into the season? Being young, there's a lot of comparisons for when a couple years ago, before we got Amari Cooper, this wide receiver core was a no-name kind of wide receiver core, and I think it was way more no-name than it is now. But how do you feel? Do you feel a similarity there, or do you feel that this is a better core going in?
CeeDee Lamb, he's proven. Last year, statistics show that he did prove himself. I think for the time being, he'll probably be the number 1 receiver. If we look back to, past, Cole Beasley, I think, was the biggest name on that. No, they also had, I think, Austin as well.
Yeah. Was Austin there? Was he on the injury? I think, past,
he might have come off. Yeah, it's kind of a Gallup situation this year, I think, when we look back, if we compared that team to this team. But, CeeDee's proven. I like this receiver that they drafted. I can't think of his name right now, but...
Tolbert?
Yeah, Tolbert. Yeah. Yes, Tolbert. I really like what he's going to bring to the team because he's really explosive, and he's a very, very good deep threat. And we know Dak can get the ball to the deep threat receivers. So,
last year when you look
we were just talking about that.
Yeah, when you look at the receiving
we were talking about Turpin. I'm excited for Turpin.
Yeah,
Turpin. I think this is going to be his time to shine too. Maybe as the number 3.
He's going to get that shot. I think like 1 shot a half. He might get the 9 route or like a smoke screen type of deal. It's going to be. It's. That's what I'm looking for. Like if Kellen wants to get cute, you get cute with him. Because I think
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. As far as Turpin, if Kellen Moore can break out, a page out of the
Whitehead
Airbnb, I'm just saying, Airbnb, like use him like Tyreek Hill. You know what I'm saying? With that speed, he can break out and do, great things that Tyreek Hill did, or Shanahan, break out a couple pages out of Shanahan and do like what Debo Samuels did.
Yeah, and I think
you can use him in many ways.
Yeah, I agree. If you have something within your offense or your defense, you always want to make sure that you have a backup just in case the person's on the sideline. And I think well, how do you get Tony Pollard involved? Well, you do the same thing as you're doing with Turpin, for example, that's Cole's talking about, and you do it with Pollard because, hey, man, let's get these guys open in space and let them try to work their magic. Because, when you look at the kicking game and where that can go, we're definitely a better spot than we were last year. I'm not saying the kicker itself. I'm talking more in the sense of at least a threat, and he's not our backup running back there. So, I like Turpin going in. I like the fact that he can be a gadget guy, and we harp on we harp on him, Kellen Moore about the gadgets, but when you got a guy like Turpin, I mean, you want to get him the ball, and it'd be basically a mess if you wouldn't. What would he do with Whitehead? What was it, Whitehead? I'm trying to remember his name.
Lucky Whitehead.
Lucky Whitehead, yeah.
Yeah, he would swing around.
Yeah.
The linebackers would look at him. It would help Zeke. It would help Tony run the game. So, I mean, and we totally got away from that last year. And I could understand. And this is what Mark's been harping about as well, the 12 personnel. That's what's ran in that 12 personnel. So, I want to see the running the ball. I know there's been some people saying, oh, well, we got to sling it with Tom Brady. I think getting the ball, slowing the game down a little bit, letting the defense, do their thing. And, if you can take the ball away from them once or twice and actually put a running game with it, you're keeping the ball out of Tom Brady's hands. And I think, there's so many factors that need to go in. There's a lot of people, go up the middle. But, he loves to throw it for like 2 to 3 seconds. How is going up the middle really going to help you? So, I mean, that doesn't mean you don't do that, because at some point within the game, it's going to be a factor. It's going to be something that's going to come in maybe at the very end of the game. I like that, but let's not get it wrong. There's going to be a lot of things that are going to factor into it. Go ahead, Troy.
I think you've got to rely on those tight ends. They've got to be blockers as well,
Yes.
block down. If you could shift that defense, to one way or the other and allow the running game to go the opposite way, there's going to be some big gains. And Tony Pollard, he can spell Zeke for a few plays if we have to. Between the two of them, that backfield, if you could put those tight ends in there and give them some good blocking, maybe run some those stunts that they love to do.
Yeah, the bootlegs and everything.
They did it last year to an extent, but then they got away from that.
Well, getting to some of the game planning stuff I'm hearing out of Tampa, they want to take Dalton Schultz away. So this is a game where I think CD can have success. I think he's going to get a lot of one-on-one. So. Assuming what I'm hearing is correct, where they're going to really keep an eye on Schultz down the seam. So I'm excited for CD. I think this is game one of him saying he's the number one receiver. We know he can do it, but he has to do it. So I'm excited to see that. So get the ball in our playmakers' hand.
That's exactly it. Yeah, it's going to be kind of a pick your poison, Tampa. Who do you want to protect? Who do you want to double team? Because we've got other weapons that we can go to.
Yeah.
If you're gonna double team CD, well, we've got Dalton Schultz that can come out of the back or off the line, catch that pass over the middle and give you a couple more yards outside that. We've got the running backs that can come running out of the backfield and do the same thing.
Yeah.
If you're going to take away our running backs, we're going to have CD out on that slot position maybe.
Get Dak out on some bootlegs just a couple times, just to loosen everything up a little bit.
He'll definitely be using his leg. I could also say Jake Ferguson could be in that mix too.
Yeah, exactly.
Playing two tight ends, Jake Ferguson.
Just think about this. If we could somehow get a lead, like 7-10 point lead, and let our defense just go after Tom Brady, that's what I want to see. I don't want to have to play from behind and then get Kellen start looking at his plays. He's looking at his plays, drawing up shit. No, I want to have a control of, and then have our defense be able to just, attack the quarterback. I think what Tampa's going to try and do is try and dump the ball off to Fournette a lot. Because he's good out of the backfield, even though he's 260. Well, I think he lost some weight, but he came into camp 260. But I think that's what they're going to try and do. But if we get a lead, go ahead. You want to go up, have 15 play drives? Fine. I like our defense in that.
That we're going to make a play at some point within there. So going to the chat, Captain Taki wants to ask, if the stories are true and Tolbert does not play as their third wide receiver, who will that be? Who's your third wide receiver? Who's your second wide receiver? How about that, too? Go
ahead, Coles. What do you think?
I think the third wide receiver will, of course, be Simi Fehoko, and the fourth wide receiver will be Kevontae Turpin.
Okay, I like it. I like it. I like it. What do you think, Troy? Who's your number 2 and 3?
Boy, it's going to be a toss-up, really. Once you get Michael Gallup back, where do you sit him in?
I guess he means tomorrow night.
Oh, okay. Tomorrow night. Yeah, I like Simi. He did show some promise in the preseason. I love the Turpin kid. I mean, I watched him over the USFL season. Boy, he is explosive. So, I think if you pair him and CD together until we get
yeah. See, I'm with you. Yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be Turpin only because I don't know who they're going to activate. I think a guy like Houston could have some good catches, but is he going to be active? If they're not going to make the Tolbert active, then Houston's probably active, right? I mean,
I would agree with you.
Yeah,
I would agree with you. And maybe more
they're going to go after Turpin since he's going to be in the game. They're going to get the ball in his hands a couple times. That's going to be exciting. I have a feeling that he's going to do something special tomorrow night. He's going to score on something.
I will say this: when I was talking to the Bucks content creators, they're very scared of Turpin on special teams. They said,
really?
They're not big on their special teams. That's a problem they have, and they seen what Turpin did, and they was like, he's legit. Everybody saw that he's legit. So they're hoping that their kicker will, punt the ball out of bounds. If they punt away from them, they're going to definitely. I don't think they're going to, choose to gamble with Turpin. So
yeah,
they see true stuff from him.
As I jump in there, I'm kind of with you guys. I do like Houston coming in as a possible security blanket, especially if they're looking at taking away a guy like Schultz. I know we heard in the preseason that Dak felt very comfortable with Houston, so I like him going in there. And if you're putting Tolbert to the side because of that, again, I've said this before. I mean, if you're going to get any of these receivers that you kept, who would you keep out? And honestly, Tolbert is probably the guy that hasn't been stepping out of all these guys. I mean, a lot of these guys flashed and they showed why they deserve to meet this 53-man roster. And so when I look at the coaching staff, I unfortunately think the coaching staff is going to put Noah Brown in the number 2 position. But I agree with you a lot when I say, Simi Fehoko could be your number 3 guy, and I like that matchup because what happened last year with what gave Tampa Bay the extra little push? I mean, the fact that our third corner was covering Antonio Brown, a number 1 receiver in most teams. I mean, that was a big factor. So if you can have a good receiver, I'm not telling you he's a breakout, but he has stepped up, and again, putting anybody in there, that's going to be a big weapon for us. So, I mean, I'm liking Tolbert being out for a substitution like Houston because of the security blanket thing. So, but I'm with you, Troy Daniels, when I see that last year, what were we looking like going into the season with tight ends? We had Sprinkles. We had Schultz. We had Blake Jarwin that was basically hurt all the time. So you're going into this year feeling really good, no matter who's sitting in there at the tight end position. I mean, I'm not thinking Hendershot is going to take on a 300-pound guy, but I feel like Hendershot's going to get a 3-yard catch and turn it into a first down because he's going to push through that defense. So I feel better about this tight end core, and I don't know about you, Cole and Brian, but I'm really liking this tight end core. I don't want to step away from any of them because obviously the one guy would have been Schultz, but if he's a security blanket for Dak, I'm all for it. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm all for it. I think this is the best tight end core we had in quite a while. I have a lot of faith in Peyton Hendershot. He showed great flashes. Dalton Schultz, of course, he needs to show what he, if he's that guy because, these 2 young guys might push him on out with that franchise tag on him. So, and of course, Jake Ferguson. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do this year.
Yeah, I think it's as good a tight end room that I've seen in a while. Yeah, like Cole said, I mean, they'll probably keep Dalton next year just because the franchise tag is as cheap as it is. It's a little over $13 million. It's still going to be cheaper than signing him long term, especially after the season I think he's going to have. But to have two young guys who, man, like Hendershot has just got an attitude about it, man. He just get the ball in his hands a couple times. That's all. Just give it to him in the seam and let him run. And I think Ferguson, he can block a little bit. I think you'll see him block. You'll see him block. You'll see him block. All of a sudden, he'll slip out,
Boom,
maybe
touchdown.
down near the goal line and throw him the ball. That's
wide open touchdowns.
That's
too,
one thing Dalton I wish could do better. I wish because how many times did we see Dalton lose contain when he was blocking for Zeke down near the goal line last year?
Exactly.
Yeah, more than one time. I don't think you're going to see that with Ferguson. I just don't. Not that he's a great blocker, but he has a history of blocking. So I think that room is as good as it's been in quite some time.
Yeah. So
we've got to also hope that.
Go ahead, Troy.
I was going to say we also got to hope that our front five hold up. Hold that contain.
Yeah.
To give Dak that time to look downfield.
That's going to be a tough matchup.
And this is just my split feeling. I think it's going to come down to those tight ends. It really is. Can they help us, block, to help for that split second more to give Dak more time to see things open up? Because, if you look at the end, towards the end of last year, Dak lost that containment quite a bit.
Yeah.
And there was no help.
Yeah, I think that's what you're going to see.
We had no tight ends blocking.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of that because, if you look at the defensive line, I was going to shift to the offensive line. Thank you for the great transition because that's really where it's going to lie within this offense. Can Dak do the same thing? Can he get the ball out 2 to 3 seconds? I don't know if he's that kind of quarterback. He's more of the whoever's open, take the sack kind of thing. When you look at a Vita Vea going against Tyler Biadasz, that's going to be where that I get a little bit scared because, he's kind of our Connor Williams now. Not saying that he's that bad, but he's that guy that we're going to look at going, he's going to be that weak link. Now, what happens at the left tackle position? Has anybody heard? Are we going to put in Tyler Smith for sure out there? Is Tyler Smith going to the guard? And we're going to have a backup that's not Peters out there? What do you guys think?
And this is the other thing I was wondering. Maybe you use Hendershot as a fullback to take care of Vita Vea coming up the middle. Because Biadasz is going to be down over that ball ready to snap, and Vita Vea is just going to jump right over him. The center position pretty much is like a dead position to me. Mm-hmm. That defender, whoever's got the center, they're going to push him down onto the ground. Forget it.
Running the A gap is going to be rough.
It is. That A gap is going to be tough. Maybe you put Hendershot, at the fullback position to kind of help that.
Yeah.
Kind of help that front five block up.
I'd be afraid of you, Cole. What do you think about this offensive line?
So this is my offensive lineup. So, of course, we got Terrence Steele at right tackle, Zach Martin at right guard, then we got Biadasz. Then I believe what they're going to do is have Connor McGovern at guard and Tyler Smith at left tackle. I believe that's the starting lineup.
Now, are we going to mess once we have this? Are we going to mess with him and put Peters out there later on, or is Peters going to be a backup, for Tyler Smith just in case you're going to let him go through his growing pains?
I think it all has to do with how they play, Phil. I think it all has to do with how they play. I think if McGovern struggles, then you're going to see a Jason Peters play left guard. And to me, I'll run behind that all day.
Mm-hmm. Well, I believe what they'll do is put Tyler Smith at left guard and Peters at tackle. I don't know if Peters did guard. I'm not completely sure.
Yeah, he did do some guard in Philly. He wasn't thrilled about it. But I'm just looking at, we'll have to see how they play. Again, either way, that I would run behind that. Tyler is more... he feels more comfortable playing tackle just because he's never played guard really.
His natural
position. But but we also know that he struggled to tackle. You know, with his hands. You know, his center of gravity gets a little. Yeah, the best of them. But either way, yeah, I'm with Coles. I mean, but just imagine in the future with Smith and Peters on that left side, man. That's as good as it's been here in a while. Run blocking, that is.
Yeah, I'm with
I like
Angelica,
Peters right there on that left
Barone.
side.
Yeah, she says no. Do not rotate. This will drive me crazy.
No, I don't want to rotate.
Yeah, hopefully McGovern can hold his own. Let's just say that.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I think when Peters agreed with Dallas, they said that we'll only use you in spot duty here and there, probably, to get him to sign, because he was retired, semi-retired, I guess. But they pulled him out of retirement, is what I'm hearing. And so, you know, what downs and what situations would you bring in Peters? Maybe
goal line situations, possibly. I mean, when you're putting all your big men inside there.
Yeah, you're definitely going to use him on those goal line situations, goal to go, like from the 2, maybe 3 yard line out, or in, I should say, not out, because it's probably too far out for Peters. But you know, if you can use him to maybe spell Connor McGovern or spell Tyler Smith for a bit.
I'm with Coles.
Or maybe even, you know.
I'm with Coles when he's talking about a lot of the offensive line, but I'm also with Cowboys corner here when he says Jake and Hendershot have to help block on that left side. I agree. I mean, you got it before you go out for your route. I mean, you're going to need to chip somebody. You're going to need to help in some way, whether it's the running backs doing it. Somebody's going to need to help, and I think that should be the whole season. I mean, if you start to see a little bit of struggle on Steele's side, I mean, that means you do exactly what you're doing on that left side to the right side. It's not hard, coaches, but somehow they'll try to scheme it, and I think that's where Kellen Moore needs to mature. But when we're talking about shifting on the line, let's talk about and shift to the defensive line, because I know when you look at the rotation for our defensive line, there's a lot of guys that I don't mind the mixtures. Who are you plugging in at what time? And I like a lot of this defense. I know when it came to cut times and I was trying to figure out the 53-man roster, the defensive line was where I struggled. Do I trade after Tristan Hill with his contract year where he's going to want to prove it and show his numbers? Do you cut a guy like Ridgeway? People were cutting Ridgeway because he was the one that was the lowest on the totem pole. It just kind of shows you the kind of depth that they had here with even having to release a guy like Carlos Watkins. What do you guys love about this defensive line, and what do you guys hate about it if you do?
Yeah, Coles.
I like all of that. I like the whole defensive line. Like nobody on our defensive line, I have like, you know what I'm saying, have to double check on. You know, like I love our depth that we have. You know, they're not big names, but they know how to, you know, they're definitely doing their job right. And that's all that matters. You know what I'm saying? I'm hearing great things about Quentin Bohanna. You know, Mike McCarthy's even high on him. So, you know, I've seen flashes over the preseason, but I want to see that in an actual game. I got more, you know, juice with my guy, Osa Odigizua. I believe he's going to have a big year this year.
I'm back there. I'm back in there with Ross, too. I like that.
That's one talented guy.
Go ahead, Troy.
I think between those two guys, one of them's going to have a breakout year. And right now, I'm hoping it's Osa. I really do. I want to see him flourish and continue what he started last year.
I was worried about Bohanna, but, you know, supposedly, you know, I mean, from what we've seen, he's really got like leaner, you know, stronger. You know, that was big because, you know, for a guy that I thought he tailed off last year.
Yeah, he did do some off-season strengthening and conditioning. I think we probably see a meaner, leaner Quentin Bohannon. From the edges, I mean, you got Dorrance Armstrong.
It's
a big line. It's a big line.
Lawrence.
I mean, you look at Golston.
It's going to be tough to stop.
And, you know, questions go out there that, you know, we all seen the preseason games. We've been seeing Neville Gallimore out there late in the preseason game. So is there a shift? Is Quentin Bohanna kind of, you know, stepping up and saying, hey, hey Gallimore, I might go ahead and take more of your snaps. So is there a competition between those guys? Like, have y'all scoped something like that? Because I seen Neville Gallimore out there like in the third quarter.
Yeah, I was surprised to see him there.
I'm trying to see what's going on between them. So,
just like the offensive side of the offensive line, you can bring Neville Gallimore to spell Quentin Bohannon or Osa. I'm not too high still on Tristan Hill yet. That's just me. I mean, until
he's a guy that's got to do it in a game. I mean, we could see all the flashes, and I expect him to have a better year. So but he when the lights come on, he's got to do it. So
he's got to. It's almost like a light switch with him. Some days he's there, some days he's not.
Well, he's a guy that was on the outside. Everybody thought he was the odd man out, and he said, "No, I ain't going anywhere." Or or he improved his value. I still thought they would, flip him for somebody. Maybe they tried, they couldn't get what they wanted.
Yeah,
but he had a great preseason, so let's give him props.
Did they keep Basham or did they let him go?
No, he's on the team.
He made it.
He had a great offseason.
Good. Maybe put Basham in there too, because I'd love to see a defensive end on the inside that can really push an offensive lineman out of the way.
Well, I think you got guys
use
like
that
Golston
swim technique or.
Yeah, Golston, where he was at the edge, now obviously with the extra weight gets pushed into the defensive tackle position. I think you're going to see possibly that kind of guy. You got obviously Fowler, a lot of people are forgetting about as well too. So the fact that if a guy like Sam Williams is sitting, you can understand because of the rotation. I know when I look at that, I look at the next level, and I know before going out of last season, I was very worried about this linebacking core. I liked it, but I was wondering where was it going to go? Where was LVE? I mean, he did improve. He wasn't amazing, but he definitely wasn't a liability like he has been in previous years. So the fact that they were actually able to fill it out with some linebackers, some guys that even possibly could be future guys with Damone Clark. But, you got a guy like Anthony Barr. It wasn't maybe what everybody wanted in Von Miller and Bobby Wagner. But I think, again, with Brian's guy, Anthony Barr, that's a good pickup. A guy that can teach people.
I just think he fits perfect, man. I mean, obviously Von Miller. I mean, I understand. But, I just think Anthony Barr, it fits with Dan Quinn and what he's trying to do. And listen, the more of those guys that you have, he's long, he's fast, he's strong. He can get to the quarterback.
Yeah, I'll tell you too. With Michael Parsons, if you want to put pressure the line, if you want pressure at the line to begin the down, boy, you could bring Michael Parsons, sneak him in up the middle. Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, and Parsons obviously
shout out, my man.
Yeah, you got that radio voice, Brian.
Yeah,
I love it.
I have a face for radio. Trust me, I know.
But like as we go on to these linebackers, I think again, depending on what Dan Quinn, I jumped on this last year. What is he going to run? Well, he likes to run everything, and he did show that. So I mean, I like the defensive line. Obviously, I've said this, and Brian's heard this like a broken record. But I do like some of those defensive linemen jumping out into that outside linebacker position to kind of hold that edge. So to allow more of these guys to get onto the field, and so when you got a guy like Parsons. He jumps back and forth in between there. So that's why I gather those together, because Parsons is about both of those groups, relieving people. And honestly, was he relieving anybody? More like taking people's jobs. And you kind of just, everybody's his backup on the defense. So I think the weakness when you look at this defense is definitely the secondary, but it's not the safety position. You got Diggs that, everybody likes to say, oh, he gives up a lot of yards, but nobody wants to acknowledge his 11 interceptions. Okay, so if you're going to jump on that, give us the 11 interceptions as well. So I mean, the fact that he's pointing the ball, he's going and jumping in front of routes that should be a wide receiver's, bread and butter and get him flowing. He's jumping these routes. So I like Diggs. But what do you guys think about behind Diggs? I mean, who's your number two? Other than, I look at Anthony Brown, and he's serviceable. I don't know what you guys think about Anthony Brown. I know a lot of Cowboy fans weren't liking him last year. I was a little bit on there as well too, but to me, he's proven himself. What do you guys think? Go ahead, Cole. You're gonna be first.
I feel like,
Yeah.
oh yeah. I'm on the.
He's the guest.
Oh yeah, I appreciate it, man. Hey, I'm on the train with Anthony Brown. I couldn't stand him. I couldn't stand him before last season, and I had a little, I was feeling iffy about him after that Raiders game, but hey, he had only 2 bad games last season. The rest of that, he was solid. I also have my eye on Bland. I want to see is he going to be active? Because he needs to be, because he's very sticky. He had a great preseason. I believe he can. He's probably more stickier than Anthony Brown is. I've seen more of him swatting balls away. You know what I'm saying? Basically locking down his receiver. I would like to see him like in the slot. Do you think he'll be in the slot or on the outside? Since
I think
all Anthony Brown does.
Yeah, Jordan Lewis is.
All Anthony Brown does is to shut people up. I mean, Cowboys fans have been trying to get rid of him for how long?
Yes.
This dude, I remember when they drafted him. He ran, I want to say, a 4.3.
Yes.
He's still, if you ask them, it's between him and Micah Parsons that are the fastest on the team. I mean, as scary as that sounds, but dude, all he does is get disrespected, and that's fine. Like I said, that's fine, because he's just gonna keep making plays. He ain't gonna take a step back. Yeah. He's doing well for himself, and I don't know how many years he has on his deal, but he gonna make some money coming up, because he's, like I said, he had a great year last year. I mean, he had a couple bad spots, but D-back is the hardest hit position on the field to play.
It is,
obviously, you know what I mean. But I think that's another deep area. And if you're talking about I want to hear what Troy has to say first, and then I'll get into, in my safety.
I think in the concern for Anthony is, will he show up? He was one of those other streaky players, oh God, who else was there?
Well, listen, Troy, he's a guy who heard everybody. He heard all the Twitter people running their mouth about him, and he just said, "Nah, not happening," and he stepped up. But there's a guy he lives. He's from like about 30 minutes away. Marquise Bell. Now he's not going to get a big run this year on anything other than probably special teams.
I don't know, man. You got Wilson that likes to get hurt all the time. So once he does that, you could probably see Bell more.
I mean, he has a lot of flash, and I'm with Cole's Cowboy. Bland is a playmaker. From what I saw, and what I'm hearing at a training camp, and what I saw how he just breaks on balls, that's very impressive for where he was. Where he was taken. I mean, that's impressive.
Yeah, and I think the jury's still out on C.J. Goodwin. Kelvin Joseph, is he still going to be with us?
He's fighting.
I was going to say, is that thing going to carry on through the season? Where it's hovering. Is he going to get suspended? Is he not?
I would say this is his last year. I mean, how Dallas feels about their draft picks. They treat them like they're the best thing. But I'm not. I was not on the board of cutting Joseph. I was not. I think next year is going to be. I don't think you'll see Lewis long term after his contract's up. So he needs to start doing something. If not, he will be out. But
and I think Goodwin may be out the door too.
Yeah, Lewis reminds me of Skandrick a little bit, kind of just lingering back there. I really liked him in Michigan. How he was manning people, but I always wondered.
Yeah, Jordan Lewis is. He's a good ball plair.
Yeah, so I just.
He's holding on to the spot. Jordan Lewis holding on to the spot.
Yeah,
he comes out in the most important times, like for instance, last year when we played the Bucs, he hit that pick. When we played the Saints that year in 2018, when he had that game in the pick. Jerry Jones remember these games, and he can always keep it in his head. So
Mark Hutton. Mark Hutton from the chat. Noah Brown, for every 10 plays, he has one good play. Just real quick. Yeah, I don't see everything that they see with Noah Brown, but whatever. We'll see how much
Noah Brown got dirt on Jerry Jones. The biggest
what I
person in
mean?
the world.
It's like to me, he's like a possession guy who has no big upside. At least Cedric could get downfield. You could tell he had some talent. Whether he's worth the $7 million a year, he's obviously worth it because somebody gave him the money. But Noah has been a guy who's been, it's just been blah. I know he's a good special teamer, but the fact that they're saying he's number 2, I hope that changes soon, and I hope one of these young guys steps up.
Let me just have a vent moment on Noah Brown.
Let's do it.
I have a very I don't like Noah Brown. You know what I'm saying? Like the dude, he's trash, man. Like I gave him an opportunity in the Raiders game. I said, okay, Noah Brown, this is your time to shine. We're in overtime. You can make a name for yourself. He drops the ball. He doesn't catch it. He can't even convert a first down. And this is what really grind my gears. It's the preseason. We relying on you to be one of the guys, but we don't know what you can do. And he doesn't even play in preseason games.
Yeah, exactly.
You're using your veteran ticket like you did something in this league. You should have been out there playing games.
And it's like,
you know what I'm saying?
It's like now you're losing weight because, did they tell you to lose weight or it's just very confusing. And the fact that he's number 2 is ridiculous.
Exactly. So I'm like, they just giving him, you're the number 2 receiver, even though we don't know if you're gonna catch the ball or not. But you can take time off. You've been with the team. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and enjoy a Coca-Cola or something on the sideline. You know what I'm saying? That's something Jerry Jones would say to the guys. Noah Brown, man, he has no respect in my every time I see him, I just get mad. I get pissed because there's so much of the talent out there that could take his spot. I'd rather them gamble on Tober. You know what I'm saying? At least it's somebody we can rely on.
Yeah.
Maybe he can show us
exactly.
Something. We know who Noah Brown is.
Yeah, we know who he is. There's not that much of an upside. Okay, he may get I see him more as a third down possession guy. You can't change that much over one off season. You just can't. So, we'll see about that whole. We'll see.
Yeah, I think it's for 95 yards.
Yeah, I know for sure. I'm tired of seeing him catch a ball and thinking it's CeeDee Lamb. So when he got hurt last year, I'm not saying I was excited. I was like, well, at least now I know it's going to be CeeDee Lamb out there, but cut the dreads and then you stay on the team. But as we push forward, let's kind of we're going to talk a little bit more about this matchup, a little bit of predictions, maybe even into the season. Going into this matchup, who do you see winning? Before we go into scores, who do you see winning this matchup? Go ahead, Troy. Troy's going to go first.
I think Dallas's offense is going to light it up. I really do.
That would be great, man.
How high will the score be depends upon the defense. If they can get the offense the ball on turnovers, I think we have a high-scoring game. If the turnover battle is pretty even, I think we're going to probably see, one of those mid to teens to maybe low 20s game. But I think Dallas does come out on top on this one. I really do.
Cool.
You
go
got
ahead.
a final score prediction on that, Troy?
Okay.
I'm going to go 20 to.
Yeah, we'll just do it and then we'll circle back around.
I like it.
I think it's going to be about a 20-17 kind of a game.
Yeah,
it really is, because you got 2 great defenses, 2 great offenses. Something's going to give, and
one of them
where it gives, when it gives.
All right, Cole. So you're our other guest. What do you think is the outcome of this game? If you're going to go in, we're going to add Brian's little element here, and you can go ahead and give a prediction of score as well too.
Okay, yes. I say more of the defensive side of the ball will be more of an impact just to keep, Brady from scoring, keep us in the game. But I also see special teams being a big factor for us. Hopefully we can take one to the house or get great field position. Either one of those will be something that will help us win. Like on my show, I did the same score, 20-17. I believe, Brett Maher will go ahead and get us just where we need to go in the end of the game. We run time down to do one of those famous Tom Brady endings, except it's going to be on Tom Brady instead of on us. So 20-17.
Man, that would be good. That would be real good.
Yes.
All right, Brian, give us yours.
All right. Here we go. This is the official here. Game Time Bryan, otherwise known as the mailman. And I'm about to deliver it. So this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's going to be a tight game. I almost think it's going to be almost like the Thursday night game. It's going to be like we should be up more than we are. Like we're going to probably be all over Tom Brady, maybe get a couple sacks, maybe a fumble, but we're not going to capitalize. It's going to be close at halftime. But then I think there's going to be there's going to be either a special teams touchdown. It's going to get like a wider gap. And I'm going to go in and get my final score here. We're going to check this baby out here. My final score, my prediction is Cowboys 30, the Bucs 19.
Wow.
Okay.
Come on.
I think it's going to be a close game, 13-10, 17-13 at halftime. I think what's going to happen is I think Bucs are going to come back and they're going to score a touchdown to make it 19, go for 2, and we're going to stop them. So that's my prediction, 30-19, Dallas.
All right,
So
I'm liking these. I know when you look at the bigger picture, everybody puts Tampa Bay above Dallas, and again, like I keep saying, people try to jump and like you got guys, and I'll name drop them. Philadelphia saying, things like, "Hey man, you got a depleted Tampa Bay line. There's no way, and if you guys walk away from that, not have beaten them, that's going to be a problem." But why? Tampa Bay is a favorite to go into the playoffs, so I see them as a good matchup to see where we at. I think about last year in the sense of where Dallas was. I didn't know what this offense was going to do. I went to Tampa Bay to watch our team because I had faith that they could pull it out, and to see some of the penalties, stuff like that, no pass interference calls, things, no helmet call, a lot of things and factors, but in the long run, we were there right at the end of the game, and I love that. I didn't have faith in the defense like I did this year. Now, I'm with Brian. I think it's going to be kind of sloppy. I don't know whether it's going to be defensive. They're all over both offenses, and then that's where the turnovers on either side, where it's sloppy. I don't know whether all of a sudden the defenses aren't going to look good and the offenses are going to be scoring all over them. But either way, sloppy in the first half. Get it together by the second half, and I see Dallas winning this one as well at a very close 27-23. But I think we're all on the same page in the sense that this could definitely be close, sloppy football by halftime, and then it could be, Dallas's way by that time. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah. I would. That's how I feel. I feel like whether it's going to be a pick six, I think Turpin's going to. I don't know why. I mean, I don't know why I'm on this. I mean, he's got talent, but I don't know why. But he's going to do something special tomorrow night. I just honestly think Turpin's going to do something special, and there could possibly be a pick six in the second half by Diggs or Brown. That's where I think the score gets. But just to let you know, it's still going to fall under because the under is 50.5. Mm-hmm. So 30-19 is 49 points. So even though I got him scoring 30 points, it's still going to fall under. It's going to be a close game, but I think Dallas is going to open it up in the second half. So I don't know what the chat thinks about that, but
there's a lot.
I think we're all on the same page. Now, the last thing I wanted to get from everybody before we go is, what's your feeling? I mean, if obviously we all want them to win, we're all Cowboys fans. Mm-hmm. Are you guys on the same page as me that they have to win this game tomorrow night? Technically, will that ruin their season? No, it ain't gonna ruin their season. But I just feel like after how last season ended, how the playoff ended, how the first game of the year ended, when we were right there without Zach Martin, we were right there. I think it would be a huge disappointment if we lost this game tomorrow night. There's no, good job. You guys kept it close. That's out the window. Am I the only one thinking that way, or do you guys agree?
No, I definitely agree. Go ahead, Cole.
Yeah. No, go ahead and get your thoughts.
No, I was just going to say that, I agree, especially when you look at the fact that when it's Tom Brady in this league and Dallas has not beaten Tom Brady, this may now be your last chance to do something like that. You don't know what's going to happen later on this season. You don't know if Giselle's going to tell him to get his ass home. We don't know if this is going to be the last time we face him, and they really need to take a step up. You look at a guy like Parsons, and last year he was very close, and he's going to look at it more in the matchup. Like, I'm not going to lose twice to him. I need at least even the score, and so I'm interested to see those guys step up. So I see that they definitely need to take advantage of this opportunity. And yeah, I say that because if you're ever going to have a weak Tampa Bay team in general, right now would probably be the time, because especially when you're asking first game of the season where a majority of everybody is always healthy. I think that's where the matchup later on in the year, where they have a whole bunch of injuries, and so you beat them then, it doesn't mean as much. So with everybody refreshed, I agree. Coming in, smacking them in the mouth in your own house and not letting them come in and smack you in the mouth in your house opening the season, I agree. That's why you need to win it. But I don't think, again, this season's over. I think I'm with if you lose, it depends on how you lose. Are you like the Rams? You're still a formidable foe. You just need to get your shit together. So you guys go ahead.
Oh yeah, like I'm with you 100%. Feel like as far as the Tom Brady, like, this is our last chance. This dude can walk away in retirement, undefeated against the Cowboys. Like, this, we walked away thinking, okay, yeah, that's it. You know what I'm saying? Then he comes back. Now we like, hey, man, this might be the time we can finally go ahead and, really, put it on him, really get a win on him. So hopefully, it pans out that way. If we do fail, which I believe we don't, I wouldn't say it's the end of the world, because I'm like, hey, we win in one of these first two games. We're not going to go into season 0-2. Like, that's just not going to happen. So I feel like that win definitely going to go again. This is our time to get the Buccaneers in. I just don't see a second year Michael Parsons, but the dog that he has, that he's going to let Tom Brady go away. Mm-hmm. I just don't see that.
So what do you think, Troy? What do you think?
Yeah, it's basically, I just feel like we got to win. So, it'll be a big disappointment if we don't win tomorrow night. Like, it's not going to ruin our season, but it's a statement game. It's one of those statement games, all the shit talking that's going on.
No, you're going to get a lot more
ESPN,
shit talking if you
Fox.
can't walk away from here. You're going to hear it all week.
Yeah, so, Troy, do you think it's, do you agree with me, or do you think it's just 1 of 17 and, yeah, it is what it is?
I think this is going to be a statement game. Can Dallas play with the big boys?
I think that's how I feel.
Can we hang with the big boys? You've got the defending Super Bowl champion Rams. We got Tampa Bay. We've got Green Bay out there. How dangerous they will be remains to be seen.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got the up and coming. You look at some of those teams in the other divisions that retooled.
There's some stuff that right there in the middle of the pack. I agree with you. You got a lot of those guys that pick up some good talent within the draft, and even maybe got even a good free agent here and there. So yeah, I agree with some of these guys that are maybe average in the pack. You still got guys that maybe are going to be threats like Arizona, but you never know. They're always usually a threat in the beginning of the season and kind of fade off towards the end. Go ahead, Troy.
I kind of have Arizona as my surprise team this year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, good, yeah.
The way they went out, and they got some free agents. They're
under the radar because people are kind of down on them. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be the team that may surprise a few people this year.
Now, let me ask Coles, what do you think about all this hype with the Minnesota Vikings? Are you buying the hype, or are you
With the Vikings?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I didn't even.
Yeah, we got Michael Irvin saying that Kirk Cousins is going to be the MVP. Everybody's
like that.
Everybody's I mean, I thought he was back in his Miami Hurricane days doing something, man, because he was.
Yeah, there you go.
Jesus,
man,
I'm like,
I didn't
Kirk
hear,
Cousins winning MVP. Yeah, he said that on ESPN.
Yeah, he also said that we could go undefeated. So I don't know if we get the penalties out of the way. I was just like, come on, Mike, you ain't like Jerry.
You know who I think is going to be an underrated team? I think New Orleans is going to be an underrated team.
Yeah,
I think they're getting nobody's talking about them. They're I think they're gonna. Yeah, they're gonna do pretty good, and they got some talent on that team.
I mean, you got a new head coach now. They're in New Orleans.
Anytime they can win a bunch of games and screw the Eagles out of a good pick, I'm on board.
There you go.
I'm liking the Lions.
All I've been hearing is Eagle hype.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's because it's the loudest. They talk the loudest. That's
35 minutes from Philly, so yeah.
Man.
I hear all kinds of shit. Wow. See, here's the one thing that I'll say. I'm not gonna I ain't gonna tout my team and say how great we are. And in doing so, I don't feel the need to bash the Eagles. I think they got a lot better offensively. Whether they can put it all together, we don't know yet. I mean, I don't think that's how you build a team. I think we've seen that. You can't put an all-star team out there and expect to go play. You got to come together. Yeah. So that'll be interesting to see how it goes tomorrow, because I think it has the potential for them to get rolling offensively. But if it doesn't, and they lose, because this is the easy part of their schedule.
Yes.
But I don't need to bash them. They have a lot of talent, but they have to show it. There's more. Everybody's talking shit on us. You know what's going to happen. We're going to win tomorrow. Yeah. And then all of a sudden people are going to go, oh, look at the Cowboys. No.
You're not allowed to.
Stephen A. Not that Stephen A. will ever give us anything, but no. I don't want to hear what you got to say. We suck, and we're going to roll into the next week. That's fine with me.
So
I'm a trash to Eagles.
It's going to be an interesting season. There's a lot of trash talking already going, and it's going to definitely continue on.
I'll be at Mark's tomorrow.
Yeah,
Mark. And if it goes that way, I'm going to be all over the chat.
Yeah,
I got a bit with Philly 500. So.
Oh, really? Nice. Yeah, I like that guy. He's
what's
very
the bet?
animated.
Yeah, we're going to have him on here later in the season when we play them.
Yeah. Hit him up. He'll do a show.
He's awesome.
Yeah, me and Philly, we chopped it up. We bet in the division. So I was about to say, do you want to do a bet that y'all gonna sweep the Cowboys, or are you gonna do a bet that you gonna win the division? He back from so all that talk he's talking about he gonna sweep us is fake. Cause I caught him in that. I'm like, hey Philly, you want to bet that y'all gonna sweep us? Cause I'll do whatever you want on your channel. I'll wear Eagles gear. I guarantee that won't happen. He back. He was like, nah.
Yeah, I was talking to him last week. He grew up 15 minutes from here. He lived. So, he's going to come on later in the season. But yeah, it's going to be fun, man. This is like the start of the new year with optimism. I'm going in optimistic. Like Cole said, and you guys said, we have to beat Brady once. This is going to be the last time. If not now, maybe in the playoffs. But I don't think Tampa's going to make the playoffs. I just have a weird feeling that they're going to just miss out. I think they have a lot of injuries, but maybe that's me just hoping upon hope. But Brady's tough, man. You gotta give him his props, but I think it's time that we need to beat him.
So I think
we'll be the only team in the division that don't beat him.
Yep, it's put up or shut up like crazy, and we're the underdogs, and that's what I'm saying. It's just don't try to come back later and say we're supposed to win and everything like that. You got to give them our dues as well. So I'm going to start wrapping this up. You can meet, obviously, Guy. Thank you, Troy, for coming on. Troy, you can catch him as well as we do a broadcast on Mark Holmes' channel. Mark is obviously moving that to Saturdays, and so we can get that going and maybe follow him behind us. We got Cole coming on. I appreciate it, Cole. Thank you very much. Tell people where they can find you if they have not already.
I think this is what we got to do going forward.
I like
it. Bring on people before the games.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Get everybody's prediction. I think that would be the way to go. But yeah, go ahead, Cole. Tell them what you got going on.
Oh, yeah. Y'all can look me up on Cole's Cowboys. Cole's Cowboys on YouTube and Twitter. Also, I'm on different networks with Hardcore Sports and BGM Sports Media. So, you know what I'm saying? Look me up on Cole's Cowboys on Twitter and YouTube. I invite all the trolls. I invite all my Cowboy family. No, we can have a good time. I love, to communicate with you guys, get your thoughts and feedback, and I appreciate y'all having me on.
Well, I hope your rally cap
good,
opens,
man. It was good.
Yeah, I hope it works. Your rally cap there.
Yeah,
so
good
Bryan,
stuff on Twitter too. He's a good follow.
Bryan,
Yeah.
of course,
Listen, man, I'm here every week. You know that.
Yeah, he's gone through an identity crisis, and now he's Game Time Bryan. But he's definitely still the mailman. He definitely delivers. You can always find him here because obviously.
Yeah, come on, man. That's yeah. I'm the mailman, but Game Time Bryan. I'm going to deliver. I'm going to deliver a nice win tomorrow. So that's how.
Listen,
you go.
Well, we'll jump on Marks
week,
tomorrow.
Yeah,
You're
we're
gonna be there. So again, I appreciate.
I'll be with him all day tomorrow. I'm heading up in the morning, so I'll be with Mark all day tomorrow. Please, tune in.
I'm a channel.
All right,
let's hope that
go Cowboys, right?
The Eagles did choke because I'm going to hear it.
All right, well, let me hit my ending video here, all right? Thanks, guys, again, for coming on, guys.
All right, God.
Thanks again.
I know you're out there. I can feel you now. I know that you're afraid. You're afraid of us. You're afraid of change. I don't know the future. I didn't come here to tell you how this is going to end. I came here to tell you how it's going to begin. I'm going to hang up this phone, and then I'm going to show these people what you don't want them to see. I'm going to show them a world without you.
And that is why we need a triumphant video.
And the only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys? Yeah!